Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be considering if budget AR-15s might be more accurate for you than premium Gucci AR-15s, okay? So on this table over here, I got four guns. The two on the left, budget guns, right? So we got Radical Firearms here and Palmetto. I posted a bunch of videos. Both of these guns have hit 1-inch groups at 100 yards using budget, 223 ammo. Okay, just budget target ammo. Now these two guns over here, okay, this one over here in particular, this one is from Delta Level Defense. Okay, so this is a premium gun. This is a $1,700 gun, and then it's got the EOTech optics on top of that. So this gun over here has shot a 1/2-inch group at 100 yards, but in order to do that, I had to use 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. Okay, when I used the same ammo that I used in the budget guns, right, to get the 1-inch group, when I put that ammo in here, right, that 1/2-inch group opened up to 3 inches. Okay, and it was actually it was like a weird thing because I didn't start off with this gun shooting 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. I started off shooting the same thing that was shooting 1-inch groups in those guns, right? And I was getting like 3-inch groups here, and I was getting really frustrated. I'm like, is there something wrong with me today? Is there something wrong with the optic? Is there something wrong with the gun? So I tried I did a whole bunch of shooting with with a whole bunch of different 55 grain ammo that I had that I knew shot well. I tried some 62 grains. Finally, I got up to 77 grains, and I see the group shrink down to 1/2 inch. I'm like, wow. I mean, I was not expecting that. Same deal with this one. Now, this gun here has the barrel from the same company, Delta Level Defense. The rest of the gun I built out, but the barrel came from the same company. Okay, they have the same markings on it. CMRV. Hold on, let me see if I can see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can make it out. CRMOV, okay, 5.56 by 4.5 NATO, okay. So both of these barrels have the exact markings on them in the same color. They came from the same company. They will both hit 1/2-inch groups with premium ammunition. So now the question becomes, if you've got these two guns over here, right, that can hit the 1/2-inch groups, how much premium ammunition do you have? Okay, so as for me, not a whole lot. Okay, most of my stockpile is 55 grains. So for me, okay, the Palmetto and the Radical here are going to shoot better. I'm going to be able to get better groups more often because I have more of that ammunition, right? So that's something to consider, right? It's not just a question of buying the guns; it's a question of being able to feed the gun. Okay, so these two guns here, 1-inch groups at 100 yards with budget ammo. You know what? That kind of works for me. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Okay. And like I said, with these two guns here, yes, they will shoot better, but you've got to have much more expensive ammunition. Okay. Now, the twist rates on all four of these guns, 1 in 7. They all say 1 in 7. They all say 5.56 NATO. Okay. So the question now is kind of like, okay, why? Why is this happening? Okay. So I was watching a channel called School of the American Rifle, and this guy, he's a gunsmith. He basically does all sorts of spec tests on AR-15s, and he was testing out the Palmettos, right? And one of the interesting things that I saw on this channel is that even though the barrel said 5.56, when he put a gauge in there to test the chamber, he said the chamber was actually closer to 223. Okay, so the 223 is a tighter fitting. A 5.56 is a much looser chamber, and the reason why they do that is because the 5.56 military round also needs to be able to shoot tracer rounds, right? And tracer basically is a fatter bullet. So that would be the reason that would kind of explain why the Palmetto and the Radical, right, are shooting better groups with cheaper ammunition if the chambers are tighter fitting. They're actually 223, even though they say 5.56. So I think that's interesting, and that would also explain why it's possible that since this is a Gucci gun, they made it to exact 5.56 specifications, but now you have to shoot the 77 grains in here, right? Also, the other possibility is the twist rates. They all say 1 in 7 twist, okay? But here's the thing: if they're cheating a little bit on the chamber size, right? So that instead of it being 5.56, it's a little bit closer to 2.23. They might also be cheating a little bit on the twist rate. So maybe even though it says 1 in 7, maybe it's really a 1 in 7.5, or maybe a 1 in 8. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the guy test the twist rates. That would be interesting. Now, from my perspective, I just want an accurate gun. Okay, so that's more important to me than if the gun says 2.23 or 5.56 on it. Okay, so that's going to matter more. Can the gun give you the best accuracy? So I think we're actually all winning. All right, by this gun having a tighter chamber. And they stamped it 5.56, so you can stand there and say, hey, I've got a 5.56 military gun here. Okay, so if that's something that matters to you, I mean, it doesn't matter so much to me. But I think that might be what's going on with this. Okay, so the twist rates might be, I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing. They might actually be a little bit more than 1 in 7. Maybe it's a 1.7, 7.5, or maybe even an 8. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the tighter chamber by itself is allowing for the better accuracy. Now, a lot of times people would talk about chamber pressures between 2.23 and 5.56. For a long time, people were saying that the 5.56 had a higher chamber, had a higher pressure. What it turns out is that they were using different methods to test the 5.56 and the 2.23. Like when they test it out, they drill a hole in the case, right? But what they were doing is when they were testing 5.56, they would drill it in one spot, but when they were testing 2.23, they would drill it in another spot. I think the 5.56 was in the back and the 2.23 was in the middle. But when they drilled the hole in the same exact spot and used the same exact method, they pressured about the same. Okay, and again, when we're looking at these chamber pressures, we're looking at the max. Okay, and we're also looking at at an average. So it's kind of like so that by itself is not like an exact thing. Okay, so I wouldn't be worried about chamber pressures. I think at this point in the game, pretty much all AR-15 barrels are built so they can handle the max 5.56 pressures. Okay, like I haven't seen a barrel stamped 2.23 only in almost 8 years at this point. Okay, right now it's either 5.56 or 2.23 wild. That's the only thing I see between those two. I don't see anything that says just 2.23. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I was thinking about this, and it just popped into my head when I saw this guy's video, and I saw that the Palmetto that he tested, right, the chamber, even though it said 5.56, was actually closer to 2.23, and that would explain the better accuracy, right? And this is something that I've been seeing for a long time now, that the Palmettos and the Radicals, they're giving me those 1-inch groups. I don't get them all the time because I'm not that good. But when I'm having a good day, I'll get 1-inch groups with both Palmetto and Radical. And truth is, with most other AR-15s that I test, I think all companies do the same thing at this point. But I was very surprised at how much I was struggling with the Gucci rifle here to get good groups, right? So when I was putting the budget ammo in here, both 55 grains, 62 grains, I was getting like 3-inch groups. It wasn't until I got up to the 77 grains that I was able to get the 1/2-inch group. So it's either 1/2-inch group or 3-inch group. I mean, there's no in between with this rifle. So anyway, drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you soon.